Okay, let's do an introduction. You first.
How do we... Hello, my name's James. James Birch. I like moonlit walks on the beach.
And I like watching him when he's walking. Just sort of trailing 40 to 50 yards behind, watching.
That makes sense. I always feel like somebody's behind me when I go for these moonlit walks on the beach.
And you know when you double back and there's two sets of footprints?
I just thought I've got a bit of a funny step.
Yeah, well, there's that too. It's actually 2.5 steps, really, isn't it? 2.5 sets of footprints.
Right, yeah. When I say introduction, I don't know if we wanted to do...
You mean you wanted the Parkinson theme tune to play? Clapping, hang on. Hey!
Parky!
Welcome.
My first guest is Billy Connolly.
Hello, it's me, Billy.
Hey.
I'm so rocking. I'm from Glasgow. I don't know if you know that. Hey, I tell you what, bums. Very astute observation. It's Billy Connolly.
We managed to distill a 20-year career, more than 20 years, I don't even know, 30-year career of interviewing people on TV into, I don't know, what was that, a minute and a half of concise, brief summation of that man's life.
Oh, I know, wow.
And now he sells pens for, what is it, British seniors?
Parky pens.
Parky pens. Boris Bikes, Parky pens. And Jeremy Irons. Famously got on very well with Muhammad Ali.
Famously? Yeah.
Was that the one? Parky and Muhammad Ali?
Oh, I thought you were talking about bloody Jeremy Irons then. I was like, what? I was waiting for the bit. Like,
No,
kind of...
For once in my life, I wasn't talking about Jeremy
He
Irons.
interviewed him like 2 or 3 times, the last of which he kind of turned on him. He turned on Parky
Well, he started
a bit.
beating him up.
Right. Yeah. Like, I don't hear no bell, and just starts wailing on him.
Get security.
Hey, it took 16 bouncers to pull him off. No wonder he's selling pens. I thought, first of all,
Yes.
lay down a few ground rules.
All right.
So, please don't say anything suggestive about the way I'm dressed today.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but no, that's fine. Yeah, it goes without saying, I think.
A man wants to wear a Justin Hawkins style catsuit. It's anybody can wear whatever they like.
Yeah, no, I quite agree. No, did you buy the sausages in a pack, or?
It actually came with a catsuit.
Came with the suit. Oh, that's handy. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the first ground rule. Have you got any? Do you want to just to sort of establish?
I don't usually play by rules, so it's very difficult for me to.
Bit of a maverick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I play by my kind of beat of my own drum.
Yeah, I've always
You
seen
know me. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've always seen you more of a bit of a goose. But I'm not talking Top Gun. I'm talking like you've got that really long neck.
Yeah. And I produce a lot of fat. Yeah.
Right. So I think it's important that we set up our personalities. You know, people need to get to know those quite quickly. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm the cute one.
You're the cute one. Yeah. Certainly. The pigtails give it away.
Yeah.
We'll have to put up some drawings. If once this becomes established and we're huge stars, people will know you by the pigtails, won't they?
That's right. Yeah, my famous Birchy pigtail.
Yeah. So I'll do a quick sketch of you at some point, and we'll put that up. And I'm the racist one. That could be like my.
I've always found that's
character.
a good duo, the cute one and the racist one.
Yeah. Well, that's like a lot of Clint Eastwood's later films. Certainly Gran Torino.
The good, the cute, and the racist. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's no Bronco Billy. That was his first film. He did this really awful film called Bronco Billy, like back in the 70s, which was like about a travelling gypsy circus or something like that. And he like fell in love with one of the people at the circus or something like that.
Okay.
It wasn't like the woman in a jar or anything that he fell in love with.
Bearded lady.
Yeah, bearded lady.
So was he the titular?
He was Bronco Billy.
Billy?
Oh no, yeah, he must have. It's been years since I've seen it.
He was in love with a horse.
Yeah, that's
Billy.
Yeah, and Bronco was short for the fact that the horse had bronchitis.
It was a horse with a really bad cough. He took pity on it.
Yeah. There's that great scene at the start of the film where he's just kind of like, you can hear in the background, no, no.
Excuse me.
And he's like, who's that coughing? And he looks over and there's just like one of those kind of where the screen's a little bit kind of like hazy and just kind of like dreamlike.
Yeah, they've rubbed Vaseline all over this camera.
And the horse. Yeah.
And the horse, yeah.
And and then it just sets itself up from there really.
Well, I must watch it. I'll rent it tonight. I head down to Blockbuster Video.
Yeah.
I'll hand them my membership card and ask for a VHS copy. I'll they know me quite well in that. Actually, I'm in there all the time.
Yeah.
So they generally comply with most of my demands. If they don't have it in, they'll order it. They're very good like that.
Oh, sweet. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Some people say it's a dying industry, VHS video rentals, but they keep telling me that I'm actually keeping the whole industry afloat.
Can you imagine that? Just like one Blockbuster Video, it's just like one guy sat in there, just like from 9 to 5 each week, just like, come on, when's he going to come back? Just like one person, just like, hi, I'm here for another video. Oh, thank God.
Oh, it's you, thank God.
Sure you don't want to rent too?
Look, we've got Dunstan Checks In, we've got Look Who's Talking, and Look Who's Talking Now. Bruce Willis is in both, voicing a baby.
He doesn't have Look Who's Talking too. He just has the first one and the third one.
No, that he knows that I don't like that. That was the first one I rented. That's the first thing I did when I walked in the shop on day one that they opened. I went straight for Look Who's Talking To. Took it home, but I brought it back immediately because I hated it.
Get rid of it. It's not even in the shop anymore.
I'm not going to set foot through the archway of the shop unless I have assurances that Look Who's Talking To is done, is gone.
I feel sorry for this Blockbuster Video employee who's just kind of like at your beck and whim, essentially.
Yeah.
Just like, right, I'll throw away this stock.
Well, I'm paying their salaries.
It's true, I guess, but...
I also own the shop and the company.
Right.
I bought up the rights to all the companies. It's the only way I could keep that one shop open.
Oh, I forgot your name's Blockbuster, isn't it?
Yeah, Sean Blockbuster Kennelly. So, we're talking about the old dirty bastard.
Dirty old bastard.
Dirty old bastard. From Wu-Tang Clan, as I always accidentally call them.
The Wu-Tang Clangers.
The Wu-Tang, yeah, well, they're originally mostly whistling-based music.
Yeah.
Before they evolved into, seminal New York hip-hop.
Yeah.
Before that, it mostly like moon-based.
They were moon pigs, yeah.
Yeah. And before that, he was, of course, in the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
And then before that, he was in NWA. And before that, he was in... he did a lot of work with Rolf Harris.
That's right, yeah. And he was in women's wrestling before that as well.
Yeah. Can you name any women's wrestling wrestlers?
China.
Okay, you did it, actually. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, from... I used to watch WWF when I was little, yeah China.
Me too. Wasn't that one called Tori? Tori Amos.
Tory Party.
Wasn't there one? Wasn't there a wrestler called Theresa May? Something like that? No, maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
You're just wishing. You just want to see that match.
I want that to surface online. That actually, this woman that we've been closely watching her since last June, whenever it was she got in power. And we're just only now realising that she was actually a professional WWF wrestler in the 80s.
That'd be great. Well, I mean, we had that substitute teacher at our secondary school who was a wrestler.
Go on.
Do you remember?
No, not at all. No record.
I don't know if I could... Well, shall I say his name?
Say it now, and then if we change our mind afterwards, I'll put a big bleepy noise over it. Although I'll find something more creative than a bleep. I'll use like a lion's roar or a truck screeching or like I don't know, like a castrated virgin doing a falsetto.
Oh, of course. Yeah, Mr. Redgrave.
Mr. Redgrave.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He was a substitute teacher.
Right.
But yeah, word got round the school that he apparently, back in like the 80s, used to be like a wrestler.
Okay.
And like whenever anyone would ask him, is like...
Whenever he'd pole drive them. He'd pick up a chair, just whack around the head.
Oh my god, I don't believe it! Yeah, no, he... like, it'd be funny as hell. He'd be kind of like doing substitute for like a maths class, and just be like, oh, okay, and that's how you get the answer to this equation. Any questions? Someone would put their hand up. Sir, in the 80s, did you used to be a professional wrestler? He must have got it every lesson. But his response would often be, I could answer that, but I'd have to kill you.
And he did, actually.
Yeah, and he killed several kids, yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
He used to be a teacher.
That's why he was only a substitute, is they couldn't take him on full time because the student population took a nosedive every time he came in.
That's right. Yeah.
What was his name? The pupil smasher or something like that.
Well, his surname was Redgrave.
Yeah. So he was like some sort of communist murderer.
Apparently his wrestling name was Black Death.
Right.
Redgrave,
well, it works. It's perfect.
Redgrave, Black Death. But, yeah, I mean, he never... I don't know, there must have been some truth to it. Just the fact that...
You're right, James, because there's no smoke without fire in a situation like that. You're right, because the fact that everybody kept mentioning it, it must be true.
I wouldn't just snub my nose at the kind of like rumours of school children. It must have been a founded source here.
Well, children they've got a lot of intuition, so they pick up on these signs.
These wrestlers in our schools.
Yeah, no, very astute school children.
Yeah.
Famously on the ball, not distracted by, hormones or anything like that.
No, always on their eye out for, like, oh, did he fight Andre the Giant?
I hope so.
Yeah, but, so yeah, ODB, women's wrestling to renowned alternate rapper of the 90s.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's probably best if we just keep calling him ODB.
ODB? Yeah.
Than Old Dirty Bastard.
That's what his parents called him, so that's...
Yeah, that makes
that's
sense.
how they refer to him.
So, when you say ODB, are you pronouncing the full stops between those different letters to kind of signify that it's an acronym, an initial?
Oh, right. So
are you pronouncing that, or not?
You mean like O, D, B?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's...
If you could do that, that would be great,
fairness,
actually.
that sounds like how they'd announce someone in wrestling, so that kind of just makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. That makes sense. I was going to do a little fact file on him.
That's good, because I don't know a heck of a lot about him. Just the fact that he rapped.
So his born-given name was David Attenborough Jr.
Oh.
Yeah, that's an interesting... not many people know that, actually.
No.
So, but then, moments after he was born, his parents changed his name to Russell Tyrone Jones.
Oh.
But he's better known by the stage name Old Dirty Bastard.
Old Dirty Bastard.
And I don't know about you, but when I first listened to Wu-Tang... I struggle to pronounce the G in Tang. Wu-Tang Clan.
Tangfastic.
Yeah, the Tangfastics, as we shall now refer to them for ease. When I first got into the Tangfastic troublesome trio, the name Old Dirty Bastard fits so well. Immediately, if you saw a list of the names and then you heard their voices, when you get to him, you go, I know exactly who that is. And he definitely sounded old before his time, didn't he? He was probably in his early 20s when the first album came out, Into the Wu-Tang.
And he was a bastard.
And he was a real bastard. He was really dirty and he sounded really old.
He was always stealing Raekwon the chef's cooking utensils in the group.
And, going back to him sounding old, I think of him as like a hip-hop Bob Dylan, a hip-hop Johnny Cash. He just had that voice of a man old before his years. You know, people when they first heard Bob Dylan, they went, "Who's this old man crooning away about the state of youth today?" And then they saw a picture of him in Rolling Stone magazine or The Enemy or Melody Maker or whatever the hell was going around in the early 60s. And they were like, "Oh my God, it's a young curly-haired young man."
Not even old enough to drink, yeah.
No, he can't even vote. Probably, I don't know. That's all conjecture. I'm sure Bob Dylan was old enough
Probably
to drink.
wasn't even allowed a knife and fork.
He probably wasn't, no. He's not now because he's really arthritic. Just make a mess.
What does he do? What does he do instead? Just kind of like get his hand into a kind of like scoop. He only eats scrambled eggs now. Out of a hand.
If he could just scoop straight into his mouth. Yeah. Well, I had a lot of soup, you know.
Yeah.
We'll not begrudge him his soup, James.
No.
We'll not begrudge him his soup.
He has to have cold soup though, because like if it comes straight out of the oven when he scoops it, it's.
Ooh, my head, babe. What are we talking about?
Odeber.
Oh yeah. How he's, you know, he sounded old before his time, just like Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash.
Very unique voice.
Oh yeah. Very, very unique voice, and certainly, you know, on the by the time he gets to, I guess it was the 2000s when he was doing this "Don't Go Breaking My Heart" cover. Oh my God, his voice! It just sounds like he's got no teeth left in his head.
Well, he can't have been sober.
I don't think he ever was sober.
That was part of his personality.
Yeah. Old sodden bastard, they used to call him sometimes. I think you're right. I don't think he ever was sober. I'm going to go through at some point. I'm going to go through. There's a really great read on his Wikipedia page. There's a really big section. It's actually the section entitled "Legal Troubles" is as lengthy as the section titled "Music Career." So that's interesting. I think that says a lot about the man.
What legal troubles did he have?
Oh, we're getting into that now, are we? Okay.
Well, we can. I don't know. We can build up to that if you want to.
I'm happy to jump straight in. So, you know, I think this helps paint a portrait of the man. So, yeah, delving into the legal history of the ODB. 1993, the same year that the Wu-Tang Clan's first album came out, he was convicted of second-degree assault and attempted robbery.
Lovely.
I'm just going to bullet point these for the most part. 1994, so by now he's made it. You know, this is the year after it came out.
Yeah.
Although, you know, that came out in the November of 1993, so maybe, you know, this could have been January 1994, maybe. Give him like a
couple of
benefit of the doubt.
singles to kind of make his name.
Yeah, so sometime in 1994, probably January 1st, 1994, he was shot in the abdomen following an argument with another rapper. 1997, he was arrested for his failure to pay child support for 3 of his children. 1998, he pleaded guilty to attempted assault on his wife, and also in the same year was the victim of a home invasion robbery at his girlfriend's house, and he was shot in the back and the arm, but the wounds were superficial. So
Right.
that's a rough year.
Yeah.
1998. Rough year for everybody involved.
Yeah, I was going to work. Would it cancel it out? It's like he kind of gave a bit, got a bit back.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. Certainly. So, July 1998, this is the same year again, only days after being shot in the, home invasion
Yeah.
at his girlfriend's house in Brooklyn, he was arrested for shoplifting a pair of $50 shoes in Virginia. Although at the time he was carrying close to $500 in cash.
Well, to be fair, when you're feeling a bit poorly, it's quite nice to sometimes treat yourself to...
Yeah, absolutely. He probably needed an adrenaline rush just to keep himself walking.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe it was like the film Crank. You know, just
Yeah.
he start off small though.
He's just going around holding his side, stealing shoes.
So of course he failed to appear in court a number of times. Arrested for criminal threatening. That doesn't sound like a real thing.
Criminal threatening. Now,
Criminal threatening.
Is that he's going around threatening criminals, or the act of him threatening is a criminal offence?
I think probably threatening criminals. If anything, that makes him a bit of a hero, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's my point. He's going up to people. He's like, "Oh, You'll go to jail if you keep that up.
If I were you, I would not carry on rolling dice in the alley with Officer Leroy. That was it. Okay, so carrying on bullet pointing. He was actually, a few weeks later, rearrested for similar charges, more criminal threatening.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he really, bit of a vigilante.
Yeah.
Maybe a sort of Dark Knight figure.
Could be.
Not the hero we want, necessarily, but certainly the hero we need, I would say. During a traffic stop, details of which remain clouded in multiple versions of the events, he was arrested for attempted murder and criminal weapon possession.
While in traffic? What, in
a traffic stop? I don't know. I don't think a traffic stop means, like, congestion.
Oh, right.
I don't think he was in a jam.
I had it like the film Falling Down in my head almost, where he's just kind of like sat in traffic. He's like, I've had enough of this.
So he's like, blimey,
I've had enough of this 9 to 5.
Never going to get to Pilates at this rate.
Exactly, yeah.
No, I think it means he was stopped. February 1999, he was arrested for driving without a licence and for being a convicted felon wearing a bulletproof vest.
What?
It's an interesting fact. At the time, 1999, it was illegal for felons to own body armour. So...
What? That's bizarre.
Is it, though?
Wearing body armour? Well, if
a bulletproof vest. What did... As a law-abiding citizen...
A very cautious man.
He's very cautious, yeah, actually. I can imagine Adrian Monk being picked up on the same charges.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it doesn't look great walking around or driving around in a bulletproof vest, but I don't know.
Maybe he was just very body conscious.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He was a convicted prison. Maybe he put on a bit of weight inside or had got a bit too skinny. He wanted to look a bit bulked up. I don't know. I'm very sympathetic to him in general. Back in New York, weeks later, he was arrested for drug possession of crack cocaine and for traffic offences. Blah, blah, blah. Marijuana, 20 vials of crack. I don't know what a vial of crack is in terms of quantity.
A vial, yeah. That's.
I suppose that depends how big the vial is.
Yeah, it's just there isn't like one size fits all with a vial. It's just kind of, I guess.
Is it like it's probably one of those things like the old way of measuring a horse, using a hand.
Yeah.
It's probably like a vial is just whatever the vial nearest to you is. That's the size it is.
I see.
Oh, this is my favourite bit. This is my favourite bit. October 2000, he escaped from his court-mandated drug treatment facility and spent 1 month as a fugitive. He's a real Robin Hood figure.
Yeah.
Certainly. During his time on the run, he met with RZA and spent some time in the recording studio. He then appeared on stage at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York, drinking from a bottle, and at the record release party for the Wu-Tang's next album, W. In late November 2000, whilst still a fugitive, he was arrested outside a South Philadelphia McDonald's after he drew a crowd while signing autographs.
I love that. He's on the run, but he's always got time for his fans.
He's always got time for his fans, certainly. He's probably trying to buy a few more vials or something.
McVial. I have a question about one of the legal issues.
I'm an expert, so please quiz me.
The fight he had with another rapper. I'm curious. Does it say who he had the fight with?
Maybe it was like a sweet rapper.
Yeah,
maybe it's like he fell out of a box of Quality Street.
He couldn't open it.
He was like, you bastard!
Fucking rapper.
So as a rapper, he went by many names. Obviously, Old Dirty Bastard being the main one. ODB. So before, as well as being known by those names there, he was also had the name. He used to go by Susan B. Anthony. That was another one of his names. Yeah. And he also went by RZA until RZA told him to stop because, he was already called that. He was a bit annoyed that, he was trying to go by that name. I've got a little list here that I've got off the internet. He used to go by Terry the Terrier.
I guess if Snoop Dogg's already taken, you've got to kind of go for other kind of canine-related names.
Yeah, well, it was all the rage those days.
Terry the Terrier.
Have you got any names there of his on your list? I can see you looking at your list there, James, of names that ODB went by.
Yeah, Jubilee Grave Smasher.
yeah. It's no relation to Mr. Redgrave, the former wrestler.
You know what? I'm starting to see a connection here.
Yeah.
They were both in wrestling. That name I just made up. So, yeah, no, that does make sense. What other names did he go by? He went by the name of Ruddy Fish Fighter.
Well, the suspense was worth it.
Yeah, but you see, he had the kind of full stops between each word. They'd like with ODB.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's Ruddy Fish Fighter.
Yeah. Because for a moment it almost seemed like you didn't quite know what you're talking about.
No. I know what I'm saying.
Yeah. No. You just give the man his due.
Yeah.
When Prince wanted to be known as Symbol, we called him Symbol.
Exactly.
When Old Dirty Bastard wanted to be known as Ruddy Fish Fighter, we called him Ruddy Fish.
Every
Fighter.
syllable, every bit of punctuation.
Well, he was a real artiste, wasn't he? Very selective and particular about the way things were pronounced.
Yeah, he was a certain kind of artist.
A piss artist, as my dad would say. A piss artist.
I've only really listened to the first Wu-Tang album quite heavily, and some of their other stuff.
Yeah, I'll send you the album on MSN Messenger. I'll just send you the MP3s over to you one by one. I've got a good lot of smileys as well. I can send you.
Oh,
Do you remember before they were called emojis? They were called emoticons.
yeah, I still use that a bit.
The word emoticon.
Yeah.
And were they smileys before they were emoticons? Or was the smiley something different? I'm thinking of Carol Smiley.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Carol Smiley, aren't I?
Yeah, she was a main fixture on MSN Messenger.
Yeah. Everybody had her as a buddy, as a friend.
She was like, was it Tom on MySpace?
Yeah. Every time.
Everyone had Carol Smiley as a friend on MSN.
And you couldn't delete her no matter how much you tried. And she was always asking what you're up to.
Yeah.
And it was always, but she wouldn't even ask. She just put WUBU and then the number 2. What you been up to? ? Oh, she was a frightful bore.
Yeah, terrible. Every half hour. Very insecure.
Yeah, I think that woman's got a lot of problems. I think that woman's got a lot of problems. I want to pinpoint, and I want you to tell me when emoticons became emojis. The world just moves so fast these days. I can't keep up.
Well, we've got the Emoji Movie coming out this year. Let's work now and then work our way back.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like Emoji Movie 2017. How did we get here?
If I tried to boot up MSN Messenger now, do you think Carol would still be on? How many friends do you think I'd have that are still online?
I'd be afraid to find out. I have a feeling she's sat there waiting.
Yeah.
She's been waiting for its resurgence.
Yeah. The mailbox incident. So that was, you were visiting me in Bristol.
Yes. Walking back to your house. I don't know what time we're 2 or 3.
Yeah, we're walking up past a bricked up abandoned church, which is in a really odd place. It's like at the bottom of a big hill. It's a really strange place for the church. It's mostly houses and shops. And it's got this tiny little graveyard which is all fenced off, because the church is bricked up. And we're walking past, and as I recall it, we see on the spikes of the church railings, there's a duvet hooked on that. And, we're a bit curious about that. And what do? We give it a poke or something, and it's
well, we
heavy.
started prodding at it, and it had a bit of heft and weight to it.
How drunk do you have to be? Okay, let's go see what's in that.
Well, I mean, there's no way. I think I like to think even sober, I would have just.
Your curiosity would have been picked.
It's just you would have been, I guess, more willing to kind of feed that curiosity, perhaps in a more drunken state. But the curiosity certainly would have been there.
And you're right. There was a real heft to it, and that's when we started going. Well, what's this duvet wrapped around?
Body-shaped heft.
Yeah, well, it's kind of chunky and it's heavy, So, we break into the graveyard. And I'm kind of leading the way because I know the way around the railings.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever gotten into the graveyard beforehand. I never really had much need before. After my vampire slaying days were over.
Yeah.
But we find it's just like a gap in the fence and we managed to get through. And then you make a beeline across this graveyard straight for the duvet.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, you are. One thing we can say, you've always been a very curious young fellow. It's undoubtedly going to say it on your gravestone. Your epitaph.
Well, a curious young fellow, even if I live to like 90. Curious.
Believe me, the levels of curiosity you're running at, you're not going to make it. I saw you reaching your finger for that plug socket when I was out of the room a minute
Well,
ago.
I didn't know what was inside of it, so I'm just...
So yeah, we go across the graveyard, and I'm ready to kind of like very, very like cautiously unwrap this whatever is in this duvet. And as I remember it, you went for the opposite tact. You went for the the kind of famous tablecloth trick where you try and get the tablecloth out as quick as possible and keep all the cutlery and plates on top of it. You just picked up this duvet and went, whoom!
Got the better of me.
And out came, and like, obviously we're expecting a human arm or some sort of a limb.
Torso.
To fly out of this, because why on else would it be wrapped in a duvet in a graveyard in the middle of the night?
Exactly.
And what came out? It was an American-style mailbox.
An American-style metal mailbox with that little flag thing that you kind of pull forward and backward if there's mail in the box.
That the postman puts up.
Yeah.
Your American postman, your mailman, as it were, would put up to let you know that post's there.
A body would have been less surprising than...
Oh, yeah. An arm would have been more expected. I would have understood what was going on more.
It's like, okay.
I've never seen one of those in real life. You see them on American television.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I wouldn't know where you would source one. I wouldn't know where you get them. I wouldn't know where to start.
Hadn't seen one before. Haven't seen one since that fateful evening.
Well, no, I kept it, so I...
You did, yeah, well, yeah, I kind of insisted we needed to take this back.
I was certain it was part of some sort of drug drop.
Well, we checked, didn't we? We checked inside. It was like, hang on a minute. Yeah, it's like, going to find ODB's vials of crack in there or something like that. But no, looking inside, it was completely empty. And yeah, you used it for your mail at your house.
Yeah, I put it down at the bottom of my stairs. When I come in, I'd pick up my housemate's post. I'd put it in there. Put the flag up, of course. And it was a good system. It didn't work one time. I was waiting on an important letter, and he popped my post in there, but forgot to put the flag up. I was waiting about a week, and it, the system broke down. Maybe that's why someone wrapped in a duvet and chucked in a graveyard.
Too much hassle.
Putting that little flag up, it's too much. It's never going to work. Never going to work.
Actually, one thing I will say though. Now we've talked about this quite a while, and we do reminisce about this story every once in a while, and it is a great anecdote. Whenever meeting people, perhaps on a night out, and a very good icebreaker. But this is the first time on a more widespread platform have we been able to tell this. Now, I've been bloody curious for years how that mailbox got there. Now, if anyone has any clue in the Bristol area, could you imagine that?
If somebody could find out.
Yeah, we could find out and just kind of somehow...
Bottom of St Michael's Hill. The church at the bottom of St Michael's Hill in Bristol, in the the St Michael's area.
Has the statute of limitations on grave robbery?
Well, hang on, that raises a good legal point. Is it grave robbery? We technically robbed something from a graveyard. Is that grave robbery?
Well, what I will say, we didn't rob it from a grave. Oh God, this is giving more questions than it has answers.
Okay.
It wasn't from a grave, and I'm pretty confident.
Well, hang on. Did we check to see if there were any freshly undug graves about?
Are you suggesting that one of the recently deceased wanted to have their letterbox nearby when they died?
Yeah, I was wondering that, or maybe even it was the letterbox that had died and been buried,
right,
and that had crawled up zombie fashion through the dirt, bust its way out of the coffin like a Black Mamba in Kill Bill 2, with using the little flag as the finger, bust the way out, and been there waiting for rescue. Well, if that's the narrative, then we are the rescuers in that story.
That's true. That's one way to look at it, for sure. And then it got cold, and then wrapped itself in a duvet.
Which was at hand, thankfully.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a shame we didn't keep the duvet, now that I think of it.
What? Oh, a dirty old duvet in a graveyard. That would... Oh.
Dirty old Dave Yard.
Dirty old Dave Yard.
Dirty old Dave Yard. That's a great name for like either a skiffle band or maybe like a Channel 4 programme.
I imagine him as being kind of like a Tom Waits kind of figure.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
But no, I think... screw it. I think the statute of limitations has ran out on that. So if anyone has any possible clue where this mailbox came from...
Contact us immediately.
Immediately. We can't return it. I will preface by saying that because it is...
Lost to the ages.
Since gone, you threw it out when you moved house.
Yeah, threw it out. Had to. It was too beautiful to live.
This is where we get drug barons who were trying to make a drop that evening.
Yeah.
And one of the people kind of went there and was like, well, the mailbox wasn't there. He got his kneecaps busted just because we happened upon it.
We found a duvet but no mailbox. Note to listener, this is an aside. Birch can't hear me say this, but I actually orchestrated all of this, and I only took us home that way because I was expecting to pick something up from that mailbox that evening, and as there was nothing in it, I just had to pretend that it was all some bizarre drunken misadventure that we both stumbled upon. Okay, I'm going to start talking loud enough for Birch to hear me now. So yeah, strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit. Yeah, a bit of a silent moment there in the podcast. Might have to edit that out.
Yeah.
Didn't hear anything there.
No.
Do you think it was something to do with the church? Do you think maybe the vicar?
What, like a kind of appealing to kind of like the Western kind of pop culture, like instead of a collection plate, put a few pound
American
coins
TV's
in a mailbox.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Could be.
If we could have, maybe that's why the church had shut down. It was already closed by that point.
Was it shut down, or was it just because it was 2:00 in the morning and it and it seemed?
The church is bricked up, so I'm pretty sure it's closed. I'm pretty sure the vicar's not still in there, trying to hold a sermon.
He's waiting for his post, probably. Poor sod.
He never got the eviction notice.
I think it might need wrapping up soon. It's down to 6%. It's in the red.
Well, we can at least do like a thank you for watching bit.
Okay, go.
Shit, look at the time.
Oh, it's nearly midnight.
It's nearly bedtime.
It's nearly bedtime. That pumpkin that you rode here in
Yeah.
is about to turn back into a pumpkin.
Fucking hell. I always go to these like shitty second-hand places, garages for these pumpkins.
These pumpkin places, yeah.
All right, 5% battery. That's the real reason we've got to switch off.
So, thanks for listening. I have been Birch.
And I've been Sean. And goodbye.
Goodbye.